That will get you nothing. Doug Meehan used to be a customer of the Shawmut Bank. That gets him nothing at the Shawmut Diner, I don't believe.
Doesn't even exist anymore.
You were a Bay Bank guy, I believe, at one time.
Going way back.
With Bobby Orr as the spokesman. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates.
Morning.
Peter Kadges of the Boston Phoenix had a week reprieve, but now you're back down here in New Bedford. We got plenty to get to, gentlemen, so let's just get started, shall we? Barack Obama, and smear we go, says the New York Daily News. You've seen the pictures by now. You've heard the gossip as to what might or might not have happened here. Number one, how low is this, Cosmo? And number two, who does this help and or hurt?
It's pretty low, and it's I think it's par for the course for what Hillary's been doing in this campaign lately. There was a little bit of a reprieve when Bill Clinton stepped back, and I think he has stepped back. It's no holds barred at this point. I think going into this debate that we're going to see, the gloves are going to come off. This is about as low as it gets, I think. And the fact that the Clinton campaign is trying to say that, this has nothing to do with race and that there's no problem here, I think is absolutely absurd.
I mean, did they have a meeting on this, and did they decide this is really going to help spread the fear and this is going to work, Peter? Or did they just say throw it out there and let's see what happens?
I don't know. At least it's not our taxpayers' dollars at work. At least not yet. I got to say, though, people used to think Jack Kennedy was sensitive because Jack Kennedy never wanted to be photographed in a hat because he thought he looked silly. Well, Obama could learn a lesson from Jack Kennedy in this one.
Although, if you look in the Daily News, I'll see if I can find it here quickly. They've got Hillary in China.
Oh, in some getup.
And there she is.
In some getup, yeah.
So, I mean.
Oh, but come on, it's not
Bill
as good.
Clinton in the turban too.
Listen, there's a really dark side to this. I mean, I think it boomerangs against Hillary. Anyone who was on the fence, the sort of person who's wondering, and I think a lot of people are still wondering, should they vote for Hillary? Should they vote for Obama? That's one more reason to vote for Obama. For some reason, Obama's mistakes roll off his back, and people are willing to believe the worst about Hillary, and she's given them a reason with this.
Didn't he beat her to the punch in the last debate, Cosmo? He says, we're entering the silly season now. 3 days later, this is what they're coming out with. I mean, he was right, and now he says, in all campaigns, we have people that just want to get into the gutter and do something stupid, and she stepped up and done it.
Look, the Clinton campaign they're calling it the kitchen sink strategy. They're throwing anything at this guy. And for whatever small segment of the voting public is affected by this and it makes them feel uneasy, far outweighed, I believe, by the huge negative reaction to this kind of tactic. It's pretty disgraceful and it's pretty disgusting. And I don't think that Hillary cares because it's all about winning.
With that being said, obviously good for our business because we've been waiting for this for a while now. What happens in the debate tonight? Does she revert back to it's an honor to be here next to Barack Obama, or does she come out swinging, firing with cheap, lowball stuff, and now we got the debate we've been waiting for?
I don't know if Barack lets her revert back to that because I don't see how he can let this stand in this debate. I think it gets mixed up. I think it gets dirty, and I don't think he lets her off the ropes on this. I think it's going to get pretty ugly.
I would be very surprised if there was a love fest. I'd be very surprised. I think the debate tonight, though, is going to focus a lot on issues. The fact of the matter is there is not a lot of difference between where these two people stand. And I'm going to be as interested in seeing how Obama makes these differences seem monumental when they're not. Look, Hillary, as Cosmo said, is going to throw anything at them. But the thing about dirty tricks is you're not supposed to be able to trace them back to the person who did it. This is just dumb.
I think there was a big tactical error here, too, because rightly so, I think Hillary and others have pointed out that, Obama has become sort of the media darling. Well, what has she done now, given everyone a reason to be sympathetic to Obama? And I think it's a big tactical mistake.
Listen, Saturday Night Live couldn't have thought up something as good as this.
And the writer's strike is over, so they're back. They're going to be running with it. They're going to have a debate on Saturday, and Obama's going to be dressed like this, and Hillary's going to be dressed like Norman Bates' mother, and it's going to go. It writes itself. Let's speak about a President Obama for a second, because Deval Patrick was asked yesterday, if there is a President Obama, are you going to leave and join the administration? He said flatly no. He will not. He's going to serve out his term. The question is this, Peter. What's the better position, the Attorney General of the United States or the Governor of Massachusetts?
Well, I'm not sure I'd want to be either one. Listen, Deval is a man of his word. I think he did the right thing. He put people's minds at rest. Look, under the Republicans, the governor's office was a revolving door. And I think, I think I think Deval did the right thing by saying he was going to stay put. Also, there's not that much left in his term.
Yeah, well, that's true, too.
I think it's refreshing. I want to hold him to it, and I hope he's truthful. I think it's refreshing that he says, no way, I'm governor all the way through. To answer your question, good governors, and there's time still for him to become a good governor of Massachusetts, become presidential candidates. So I think it's a better option to continue to be governor of Massachusetts. Attorneys general, they become lifetime bureaucrats. They make lots of enemies, and then they have uncertain but often lucrative career paths. It depends on which way he wants to go. If he wants to have presidential aspirations, he ought to stay being governor.
Let's talk about one of the issues facing Deval Patrick right now. We were talking to Sheriff Hodgson down here at the Shaman Diner a minute ago about electing judges. Up on Beacon Hill, they're actually going to start having hearings looking into at least reviewing judges, having review panels, and then they're going to talk about electing judges. A, can you ever see a day where that would happen in Massachusetts? B, is that a good idea?
I don't see the day that happening. I don't think it should happen. I'd like to adopt the model that we use to nominate federal judges, using the legislature, using the state Senate, as opposed to, say, the governor's council. Electing judges is bad business. I don't want to introduce the political process into that, and I don't want to see it happen.
I mean, my God, if people are unhappy with the legislature, what makes you think that elected judges are going to be any better? Listen, Massachusetts has a constitution that calls for appointed judges. That constitution is older than the United States Constitution. It's not perfect, but it's far better than electing these people. I think Cosmo has a great idea. Let them be vetted by the state Senate. The governor's council should be abolished.
And how about a permanent review board? Quickly, Peter, this week's Boston Phoenix. The Best of Boston 2008. I got to make a quick lobbying campaign here. You're doing Best TV Broadcaster in Boston. Somebody happens to be one of the 5 nominated. This isn't going to be one of those Oscars where I'm happy to be nominated. I need to win this thing.
Well, then viewers should go to thephoenix.com/thebest and look under broadcast.
Should the other 4 nominees be concerned right now that the fix is completely?
I don't care.
I need the otherness.
Go to thephoenix.com, vote for me, and I need to bury the other 4.
I don't want to call the integrity of the process into question here, but I mean, let's just.
This isn't fixing an election. This is merely pointing out that there is an election going on, and
other
it's
people
important
can
that you
lobby.
vote.
Other people can lobby as well.
Vote VB in 08. You finally got a chance. Show those other 4 what for. I expect everybody in the Shaman to do that as well. Yes! Peter Catches of the Phoenix, Cosmo Macero Jr. Associates. They're haters. They're going to have breakfast. We're going to take a timeout. Stick around. Much more to come.